So the Buccaneers signed Baker Mayfield to a 1-year, $4 million deal. He goes to Tampa Bay, where his offensive coordinator will be Dave Canales. He was actually the quarterbacks coach this last season with the Seahawks for Geno Smith. Can the Buccaneers save or revive, would be the better word, Baker Mayfield's career coming off a 2022 where he had an insane game versus the Rams, or versus the Rams, sorry, the Raiders, the Raiders. But we all knew that Rams season was a little bit of a debacle in many ways. Only had two good games. Now in Tampa Bay, is this the chance for Baker to finally salvage what he did and restore Cleveland's days?
Well, he definitely has the weapons. He has two nice weapons on the outside, and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. This is yet another head coach, another OC down the list of Baker Mayfield, which is unfortunate. I was hoping he would have stayed in LA to be with Sean McVay because I liked what I saw there. But Baker has given a lot of love to Sean McVay and the stuff that he learned in a short time there with the Rams. So maybe those little lessons that he picked up ultimately will make him a better quarterback there in Tampa. I mean, Tom Brady couldn't win with this group, but maybe just this maybe they just need a new face, maybe a new culture there in Tampa Bay. Since Bruce Arians left and now he's taking a front office role, the Bucks just haven't looked the same. Now Todd Bowles out. Well, Todd Bowles isn't out. No, no. Yeah, no, no. But I like Baker Mayfield. I didn't want him there. I was kind of hyping up Brandon's train with him going to Miami. I think that would have been a nice little fit for him. I wanted to see him in New York too with that personality, but I don't know what to expect out of Baker in Tampa Bay. This seems like kind of what happened in Carolina. You expected him to have a nice year there too, but I don't know. What version of Baker are we going to see? Is it really up to Tampa or is it really up to him?
I think it's up to Tampa. Listen, the two spots that I wanted Baker to go to, number one was Miami, and I curse Miami for the season. They will fail. They will fall on their face, and they deserve it for not signing and going to get Baker Mayfield services. You
Likewise, not
signed,
bad.
yeah, you signed for what you get. That's fine. The other spot was Washington. I was eyeing. I liked Washington. I think that they have a good offensive talent. The O line's solid. The defense is getting healthier and rising. You got Eric Bieniemy going there to prove something, and he can compete with Sam Howell. And I think he would beat Sam Howell out. It's every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Those were the two spots that I was eyeing. Tampa, I knew they were linked. The report came out like a week or two before free agency. I think that Tampa was eyeing Baker, and I wasn't the biggest fan of it. And I was just hoping and praying it didn't happen because, and Justin alluded to it, Tom Brady couldn't make this team work. And he's the greatest quarterback of all time, and he can make, chicken salad out of chicken shit, Listen, yes, he's got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. How'd those guys look last year? Mike had a couple of good games here, but him and Tom could never get on the same page. Now, hopefully him and Baker can. You hope for that. Chris Godwin, another year off the torn ACL. You're hoping he looks better. I know Rachaad White came on strong last year, and I was riding him hard. And he is an explosive back. They just signed Chase Edmonds too, who can kind of do similar stuff to Rachaad White. You still got Russell Gage, great slot receiver. Cade Otton, Shannon Sharp is high on him, so is a guy to look out for. He just couldn't get on the same page with Tom, and he was just a rookie last year. The offensive line should be healthier, you'd hope. Tristan Wirfs is still one of the best tackles, if not the best right tackle in the game. They got rid of Donovan Smith, who was probably arguably the worst left tackle in the league last year. I mean, I think he was the most penalized offensive lineman in the entire league.
I thought there's Jonah Williams.
Jonah Williams did all right. Then you got Ryan Jensen. Ryan Jensen, hopefully he's going to be healthy. He missed the entire season except for the playoff game, and he's a solid. He's more of the enforcer of the offensive lineman. I think him and Baker are actually going to get on very well. Hainsey now can move to his natural spot as guard, and you'd hope Gadecki, the rookie from last year, can maybe take some strides forward. Listen, the defense has still got their players. They were able to bring back they weren't able to bring back. They brought Levante David back, right?
Yeah, roster.
They re-signed.
He's still there for now. Yeah.
Okay. You got Devin White, Shaq Barrett, torn Achilles. You don't know what he's going to give you. Vita Vea is still one of the best nose tackles in the game. You got solid corners. Antoine Winfield is there. Listen, they've got the talent. That wasn't the problem last year. It was the injuries, and then something just didn't work and didn't mesh. We don't know what it was. Listen, Byron Leftwich is out.
The coach.
The OC now. They got the. I don't even. You said the.
That's who I was alluding to. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
You said they got the QB coach from Seattle. We'll see. Todd Bowles. I've soured on Todd Bowles. After last season, it was not a good look for him at all. This is a big prove it year. I would imagine if this is another failure year, he is going to be out of a job. And I don't wish that on anybody. It's just the fact of the matter. I'm gonna pray for Baker. I'm gonna root for Baker, but it's just that if Tom couldn't get this team to work, it's hard for me to believe Baker will. But again, listen, this NFC South is weak as hell. We all know that. I think they're right there with the Saints as the best team in the NFC South. Again, not saying much. We'll see what moves they make. They've got their first 3 picks in the draft, and we'll see what moves they make. Hopefully, they make some good moves, and I can change my tune on this because it's just I have a hunch and a feeling where Baker's career is going, and I'm not a fan, and I don't like it at all.
Yeah, Tampa Bay is not an ideal position because we complain about Baker not having the coaching stability, and Todd Bowles is probably going to be fired in a year. That he's not a very good coach, and unfortunately last year we saw pretty good evidence of that when the Buccaneers fell off pretty steep. Byron Leftwich, pretty bad last year. He was getting head coaching looks before the season. Now Baker goes to a team where Chris Godwin's 27 years old, coming off the torn ACL. He got pretty good last year at the end of it, but we know with the Buccaneers offense, the offensive line, trading Shaq Mason and letting go Donovan Smith, it's not going to be anywhere near. Let me put it this way. Last year was not good, but there's a lot of questions with the offensive line. A lot of uncertainty. Defensively, you've taken a pretty steep step back, so Baker Mayfield signs a 1-year deal with the team, and there's a pretty good chance next year Baker's on a new team. Pretty good chance. And I don't say, this is the only team where he's going to get the starting job because Kyle Trask is the only other quarterback in the room, but I don't have much to say about the Buccaneers. They're in a crappy division. I think the Panthers have a better roster than them. I think the Panthers next year are going to win more games, and that's not really about the quarterback. It's about the coach, the defense. The Panthers are better defense, better offensive line. You could argue their offense as a whole will be better, and I don't know what to make of this move at all. I think Baker's just, take another bad head coach, and that's,
it's not a.
It's an odd marriage. I'll tell you that much. I like you said, Brandon. Miami would have been the perfect place. Offensive guru and McDaniel too. I mean, maybe I don't want to call him a guru because it's still too early in his head coaching career. But places like Tennessee, where they're just chilling with Ryan Tannehill, I still don't even know what's they're playing there at quarterback. Could have taken a flyer on a Baker Mayfield there rather than. Would you rather have Ryan Tannehill or Baker Mayfield?
I'd rather have Mike Vrabel as my coach than Todd Bowles.
Oh, see, that's
I just in terms of offensive talent, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have more offensive talent.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But also at the same time, Baker has proven that he can work with less offensive talent if he has the right coaching.
Yeah.
I mean, look, when he had Odell and Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, but Vrabel's a defensive guy. I don't know who the offensive coordinator is on Tennessee.
Derrick Henry is the offense, so that helps.
Well,
yes.
Yeah.
So if you have that leadership in a Mike Vrabel, I think that's an environment where Baker will succeed. We don't know what Todd Bowles will be. Like John said, there's a good possibility if the ship goes down for the Buccaneers, then Todd Bowles is probably going down with it,
Here's a quick question. They got the 19th overall pick. Where do they go with that?
O-line.
O-line?
I would say edge rusher.
Edge rusher. I could see edge rusher.
I'm
going to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if they take Robinson, running back.
Bijan?
Mm-hmm.
Brad,
they don't have a running back.
Last year, Rachaad White, you're just talking about 5.8 yards a carry.
No, I understand that. Listen, that's me. I'm saying because Baker was best when he had a great running game and can work off play action.
But he was great when he had a great offensive line. And for as amazing a prospect as Bijan is, I mean, people have compared him to LaDainian Tomlinson.
Mm-hmm.
Taking a running back in the first round when you have
No,
a shitty
yeah,
offensive
I
line
agree
is a
with that.
terrible idea.
Yes. I 100% agree. I guess they would probably left tackle maybe or edge rusher, as John said, would probably be their main goal because they've got the right tackle. Like I said, they took Gadecki in the second round last year. He's probably going to play either left or right guard. Hainsey plays guard. He's a natural guard. You got Jensen, so it looks like the only hole is left tackle. They don't have a starter there. So I guess left tackle. Maybe if they don't like what Gadecki did last year, they draft another guard and replace him. But yeah, I think left tackle and edge rusher, you guys are right, would be probably their best bet.
Yeah, you got to bolster that O-line because if Baker Mayfield isn't the answer there long term, maybe you put yourself in a position where you kind of like the Colts, where you develop this big time O-line and then you find your quarterback, even though the Colts can't find a quarterback.
The Colts have found a quarterback this year.
CJ Stroud.
I just
Sure.
wish I could have had a
He might go number one. Panthers are sent 14 reps to his pro day.
Yeah.
Just wish I could have had a conversation with Baker before he made this deal.
Give him the truth.
Yeah. I just want to know if there were talks with Miami or Washington, and if there were, why a deal wasn't done. Why did he choose Tampa? Like, if there were talks, and if there weren't talks, why? Then I'd like to talk to Miami or Washington's rep, and I would like to know why they didn't go after him.
Apparently, Baltimore looked into him as well.
Yeah, I think those teams didn't want to bring in a second quarterback and bring the controversy of like, what happens if our guy gets hurt? Now Baker's in here. That could lead to a problem where you're not committing to one. And you have it's like
in Miami, you
like
have
being
to
into
do
two
that
different girls, not picking one.
You really
have
to do that in Miami, man.
And I feel like with Tampa Bay, Baker won a starting job, but that comes at the lack of certainty, but more so stability. Because with Mike Vrabel, you know he's not getting fired. With Todd Bowles, it's more than likely. So that's what really matters here: structure, which he's lacked. Structure.
What about Washington? It's not like they have major ties to Sam Howell. They'll throw Sam Howell's not their first.
Washington would have been all right.
Yeah, and yes, the stability might not be there because Rivera might be on his way out, but Bieniemy is being groomed as the next head coach. So you'd have that guy there. So I don't know. I just feel like those two, Miami and Washington, would have been perfect options.
I think Baker was more looking for a starting job rather than a competition, or even just a backup role. So I don't know what went on behind the scenes. Maybe he didn't make himself available in that regard.
For me, it's just I think it wouldn't even be a competition between Howell, and I think actually he'd give Tua a run for his money.
Probably. But I mean, that's the thing. Which kind of sucks is that there's teams out there that rather not sign a quarterback like Baker Mayfield just to refrain from any QB controversy and settle for a lesser backup in the situation that your quarterback goes down and now your season is probably over. And I'm not knocking Mike White. He did the best that he could with his situation with the Jets. But if you could have Baker Mayfield there, a player that's been in the playoffs.
Miami is just such an interesting one because it's not just they need a backup. They need to have a contingency plan because they need to have real conversations about is Tua's career possibly could be over after one more concussion. That is a legit conversation. So that's where my whole thing was. Mike White is great backup if you have a Mahomes or a Brady or a Rodgers, if they go down or they want to sit out a game at the end of the season, he starts. No. Tua could possibly miss 10 plus games. He could possibly have his career ended.
So is Baker a good contingency plan?
100% if you're Miami. Yes. Is he not? You don't think he would have success in that Miami offense?
I think a lot of quarterbacks would. I think taking a quarterback in the draft to replace Tua that you kind of prefer and can groom would be better.
Well, Tua's 25. How old is Baker? What, 27? 28?
Yeah, probably.
Has Baker peaked?
100%.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. But that year in Cleveland was everything that he's always needed, right? He's got a lot of skill as a thrower of the football. He's got the arm strength, and he can zip some balls into tight windows. And he's played at a high level before, but just And with Baker Mayfield, he had everything in 2020. And that was the best version of him because he's not going to get that again. Because whatever team signs Baker is not looking at him as the franchise guy. He's been too inconsistent. He's dealt with injuries, and that robbed him in 2021. And then it's been a lack of opportunity. A lot of teams would rather take their shot with a younger quarterback who will have for 4 years on a rookie contract, opposed to Baker, who Baker's on a 1 year deal. If he plays phenomenal, now you got to pay him upwards of $30 million. And you don't know if you can trust him making that much money. With the Browns, you couldn't really trust him to stay healthy, and he was making nothing on that rookie deal. Technically, not nothing for number one overall pick, though.
You know what's funny to me about this Baker thing? I'm looking at teams, and I know during the NFL season when he got let go from Carolina, and Brandon was hinting at the 49ers at that time. He said they would be stupid not to go after him. I was against it. But right now, the way the 49ers stand with no Brock Purdy to go into the season, Brock Purdy's probably done for the whole season anyway.
That
Sam
the
Darnold.
case? He's going to miss the entire season.
They signed a third. Yeah, that's the guy that they signed.
Sam Darnold was the guy.
I think that Sam Darnold
tires on.
looked at it and said, "Yo, a lot of these quarterbacks are having success, and
No,
so let me go over there and
this is the best case scenario for him